I'm honored to be here. You've had such an incredible array of speakers and made so many great points. I just want to again thank the Journalists and Writers Foundation and its global partners for the opportunity to speak here today. And it's these incredible lineup of speakers. I'm honored to be here to discuss the essential pillar of the UN SDGs, creating strong partnerships and cooperation among diverse stakeholders globally. And as Professor Kunrath indicated, at the Estée Lauder Companies, I oversee a cross-functional team that drives our citizenship and sustainability work. There's a lot of different names for the work that we do. Michelle earlier used the term ESG, and that's essentially what we do. And a piece of that, an important piece, is investing in global communities in the future our planet has, and we understand that we're an important actor in creating that future with you. So it's my job to operationalize these efforts across the company's brands, regions, and functions. We're one of the world's largest luxury prestige beauty houses, and we have over 29 brands and operate in 180 countries and have over 42,000 employees. This encompasses everything from expanding our renewable energy portfolio to advancing progress on our company's racial equity commitments by fostering partnerships with nonprofit organizations fighting for equity and justice. And similar to some of the themes of earlier speakers, I want to emphasize that really our focus is partnership and collaboration. For companies, particularly of our size, it's incredibly important for us to listen and learn and partner with NGOs, the communities where we live, work, and source, with governments who are represented here, as well as with our retail and business partners, and of course, our investors and our employees. Mr. Leonard Lauder is fond of saying, if you go alone, you go quickly. If you go together, you go far. And we very much believe that, particularly as a business that's been around for 75 years. So I'm going to focus on three different themes today. One is the importance of social and environmental sustainability and how they intersect, or intersectionality, supporting the communities where we live, work, and source, and then really how do we together drive a just transition, particularly in the private sector. So in terms of social and environmental sustainability, as the earlier speakers mentioned, it's critically important that we understand that the E, the S, and the G are not separate parts of the house, but they are inextricably linked. And that business has a role to play in addressing them all together. At the Estée Lauder Companies, we're committed to continuing to build a more just and equitable society, one that serves many, not the few. We also understand that change starts at home. We have a long history of supporting both social and environmental impact as a global business in this ever-changing world. And that's why our commitment to tackle environmental issues like climate change is not separate, but in fact, we work together to build resilient communities and advancing women and girls. We just earlier this morning were honored to win the RE100 Entrepreneurial Leadership Award for our climate solutions here and globally, particularly in the United States. These intersections have proven more critical than ever in the pandemic. Those most vulnerable, as the Honorable Verity Firth emphasized earlier this morning, are often those most affected in the climate crisis, as well as for the disproportionate access to education. Companies like ours, with a global footprint and impact, have a responsibility. We engage with a diverse group of women and men across 180 countries. So we believe that it's a business imperative to make sure that women in particular are treated fairly and equally, and they have the resources they need to be thriving participants in the global economy. And as a beauty company, we have a huge opportunity with our consumers. We can make sustainability aspirational and sustainable lifestyle, and we can reach them through the power of our portfolio of brands. Now more than ever, brands, values, and purpose are incredibly important to our consumers. This understanding underpinned by our investment in decisive action towards a low carbon future. We very recently invested in a virtual power purchase agreement in Oklahoma that allowed the creation of wind power and the creation of jobs in Oklahoma. The priority for our teams is building a holistic approach to addressing these intersectional global problems. And we believe as a business, we need to bring all of our resources to bear, including our business strategy and our business sense of efficiency and innovation to these important areas. Second, we really want to focus on reaching the communities where we live, work, and source. Across COVID-19, there was an even greater awareness of the many people who source our products, who make our products, who stock our products, and who ship them. And that is our major focus. What really excites me about now is the innovation we're seeing, as well as the incredible work of our partnering organizations, enabling communities to implement the solutions they want to see. At Estée Lauder, we found tremendous potential to support nonprofit partners to help address challenges in the communities where we live, work, and source. The Estée Lauder Companies Charitable Foundation has been doing this work in collaboration with grantee partners around the world for a very long time, and so have our brands. Our Mac Viva Glam Fund has given almost $600 million to HIV and AIDS, as well as global diversity. We've given almost $100 million to breast cancer, but our work really has just begun. Our focus now is on girls' education and women's advancement. It's informed by the knowledge, as spoken earlier, there is a great intersectionality between gender equality, the climate crisis, and many of the social issues we're trying to solve. When you look at how educating a girl creates ripple effects that can benefit an entire community, it becomes clear that addressing the global gender disparity in education is a critical part of a just transition. More educated, empowered women tend to be healthier and contribute to increases in economic growth, while conflict and disasters and pandemics further exacerbate gender disparity in education. Most recently, the Estée Lauder Charitable Foundation became the inaugural corporate sponsor of Co-Impact's new gender fund, for which we are deeply, deeply excited and so grateful to be a key partner in. It supports predominantly women-led organizations in the global South. The fund is really focused on transforming systems and advancing women's leadership at all levels. The ambition of Co-Impact's Gender Fund is bold. More than 100 million people will have better healthcare, quality of education, and opportunity to work and thrive, regardless of gender, ethnicity, caste, or race. There will be more women leading at all levels, from the household and the community to institutions and governments, influencing decisions that affect their communities and society, and making those decisions more informed and wiser. Perceptions and norms about women's roles must be challenged and shifted. We recognize this work would not be possible without the movements and organizations that continue to play a significant role in achieving catalytic change for gender equality and holding institutions and governments accountable. The scale of ambition of this fund fits the scale of the challenge. It demonstrates the type of collaboration and commitment essential to achieving gender equality and a more just and inclusive world, particularly between governments, NGOs, and private companies. By combining resources, expertise, and influence, we can achieve far more together than any donor could alone. The third issue I really want to focus on is driving a just transition through an intersectional approach. At the Estée Lauder Companies, we continue to help build a better society. And to do so, we are investing in the technology and infrastructure needed to effectively challenge and tackle environmental challenges like climate change. As businesses, governments, and organizations develop their action plans, it will be more important than ever to deploy a holistic and collaborative approach, addressing and solving these global problems across the E, the S, and indeed the G, one that ensures a just and robust transition. We believe we need a top-down and bottom-up change led on both sides of the spectrum. Because we firmly believe that the benefits of a healthy climate and beautiful world should be shared by everyone, and that social and environmental sustainability agendas are inextricably linked. The impacts of climate change are incredibly far-reaching. We see them day in and day out. In New York City, over the last month or so, we've had two quote-unquote historic hurricanes that happened sequentially within 2 weeks. Climate change is real, and it's impacting all of our communities, particularly those who have the least ability to fight it. Climate change touches so many people in different ways. We all have a part to play, which is why we believe championing meaningful climate action and investing in green climate solutions in local communities requires an unprecedented collective response across diverse stakeholders. To ensure that no one is left behind, we all need to be coming to the issue from a different angle. And again, we believe business brings incredible skill sets, whether it be the understanding of markets, efficiency, innovation, and scale. When taking on climate action, we are continuously exploring how to work with new partners. For example, as I mentioned earlier, we became the first prestige beauty company to execute what's called a virtual power purchase agreement for renewable energy from the Ponderosa wind farm in Oklahoma, United States. This partnership represents our largest renewable energy agreement to date and covers over 50% of our electrical footprint globally. As we look to the future and achieving our science-based targets, particularly our commitment to reduce our Scope 3 greenhouse gas emissions, which is 95% of our footprint, partnership will become even more critical to achieving our climate ambitions, particularly with our business partners and our suppliers. Addressing carbon impacts beyond our direct operations, which as many of you know are scopes 1 and 2, will depend on developing integrated solutions led by groups like Climate Disclosure Project and fostering joint value creation with supply chain partners and third-party manufacturers. That is where business brings its muscle to bear. We know that the key to innovation and scale will require continued cross-sector and cross-industry collaboration. I'm here today knowing that we have a lot more work to do ahead, as many of our speakers have indicated. The increased dialogue on environmental and social issues is really promising. I also agree with the Honorable Verity Firth that we are witnessing a collective sense of community and purpose and hope that is historic, at least in my lifetime. Now, what do we do together to harness it, and what is the role that business should play? When it comes to action, I think humility is perhaps even more important than optimism, or perhaps an important partner. Issues like climate change and gender equality are complex issues. We are committed to solving them at home by setting rigorous targets in carbon reduction, in workforce equity and diversity, and meeting them. We need to be able to admit that when we don't have the answer or solution at hand, and be open to solutions from unexpected avenues and partners. At Estée Lauder, we are committed to continuing to advocate for and practice cross-sector collaboration. We are here to partner, listen, and learn. And we look forward to working with all of you on so many of these important goals as we move forward. Thank you again for including us.